All right, headphones on. Matcha cheers, Khaled. Cheers. We gotta sip that matcha before we spill that matcha.
This one's
Yes,
ordered.
I spoiled you today. But I just forgot my matcha kit. So I was like, you know what? We got to make do. And I remember you love the matcha blend. So I was like, why not? Why not? How are you, Khaled? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling better than last week.
Yeah, I
It
can
feels
tell.
like everyone's getting whatever I had, and
Yeah.
I'm coming off the back of it. So
Something with the weather. But
Yeah.
speaking about last week, thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast last week. And if you love what you're hearing, like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Life with Adele for more of my day-to-day shenanigans on Instagram. And Khaled,
yes,
we got to talk.
okay,
Your girl is in her feels.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Because I know that recently you had a competition and you actually did something very interesting to get ready for your competition,
Yes, I did.
right?
We cut weight. We had
Yes.
to cut weight for
Yes.
our competition. So I went from just above 90 kilos, I would say, to 83.5 kilos in, it was
A
like
week? Was it a
5
week?
days.
Wow. Like, yeah.
Not recommended.
Not recommended. We do not try this at home, kids.
Disclaimer. Everybody that was talking to me about it was like, man, how did you do it? I want to do it. I so want to do it. And I'm like,
Don't
listen,
do it.
one, you don't want to do it. The second thing is like, I don't recommend it because it's not sustainable and the weight will not stay off.
No, definitely not.
It's not something that you do to keep that weight off.
This was just for a competition.
Basically for like 3 hours.
Yes.
Less
And
than
then-
3 hours. After we weighed in, we went straight to food and it was like rehydrate,
Yeah.
food, and you just put the weight back on within like not even 12 hours.
Right.
Literally.
Wow.
I think I competed at 88, around 88 kilos. So yeah, weigh-in was at 83.5 and then competed the next day and I was back at 88.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to like just segue into something that when I put up my poll about what people wanted to hear about, one person actually wanted to hear about my journey with bulking. And I touched upon it a little bit last season when I was talking about body image. And I touched little bit about it like through competing and like my journey in CrossFit and everything. But I need to kind of backtrack, and I feel like I owe people like an honest kind of reflection about this journey that I've been on, because I feel like I made it sound like so empowering and so positive, which it has been. But on the flip side of that, I've been having to deal with a lot of issues that have been surfacing up in me. And I just feel like I need to be transparent about that, because I can't be preaching about something and not be giving people the full story about it. So how did I bulk? Okay, first of all, I had to first go through a process of checking in with myself. Where am I in my weight? Okay, where do I want to be? And how can I gain muscle more than fat? Because both of them happen simultaneously and we get fluffy on a bulk. However, I wanted it to be more muscle than fat. So I was eating 4 times a day plus a protein shake. So that's around like 5 meals-ish a day. And I was on a very huge calorie intake. So I was well over 2,500 calories a day.
see, like for me, it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah,
obviously
but for me,
we're
this was
different,
something
yeah.
huge. And I wanted to let people know, like, I used to be the type of person that used to listen to people like, oh, I want to gain weight. And I'd be like, boo-hoo. Like, how easy is that?
Yeah.
And then I realized while
It's
I
not
was
easy.
doing it, was
No.
impossible. It took me a year to gain 12 kg, which equals around a kilo a month. And I did it in a way where I didn't go heavy on the supplements. I really wanted to focus on the food intake, because there's a lot of supplements out there that would make this process so much easier. But I really wanted it to be as natural as possible. So for the first, I would say 4 months, for the first 8 months, I actually focused on food intake. Then I added protein shakes, and then I added creatine. Towards that last like 2 to 3 months, that's what really put on the water weight. And that's where I just shot up on the scale and I sat at where I wanted to sit. What I didn't was what I wasn't expecting was how self-conscious I was going to become. I'm used to myself looking a certain way. I used to look like a girl with a very tiny frame, slender, muscular. Yes, I had a six-pack. I had nice arms, but I did not look big. Okay, I looked very petite. And if I were to compare myself to other people, I am still pretty petite-ish. However, it's definitely looking different than what I used to look like a year ago. And if I'm going to be completely honest, this has been the hardest journey mentally more than it has been physically. Putting on the weight was difficult, yes. Dealing with the fact that my body was changing, that I was looking fluffy, that I lost my six-pack basically. Like it's like, bye-bye, it's gone. And then on the flip side of that, I was also seeing all those results coming in, feeling stronger, feeling better, feeling energized, feeling powerful, feeling the way I need to feel, was all just jumbled up in my head. And what amplified this, and I'm going to be very just transparent, was other people's comments.
I couldn't imagine.
Okay, like, I know it came from a good place. I thought I was pretty strong and thick-skinned and I could take it until it started happening. And that little girl crept up. The little girl that's, looking at you and being like, we don't like looking like this. Because like I mentioned before, I was always a chubby child growing up. And I did have a lot of issues with my weight and how I looked. And I was never thin enough. And I never looked like the girls on magazine covers. And I didn't look like the typical like girl that looked like what we all aspired to look like in the 90s and early 2000s. Okay. Like, yes, it's shifted now. But I grew up in that culture. Yeah. The culture of you got to be super tiny, super feminine. It's 00 was a size that I needed to somehow fit in. What 00? There's something called a 00. I think there's like 000s as well, like extra, extra small. That's something that people aspire to fit in. And that was me. And that girl, that voice popped up again. And she was like, oh, you don't fit in your clothes anymore. Oh, you're looking really fluffy. Oh, we're going back to a size medium? What? Extra smalls and smalls used to fit me so well. My extra smalls can't even get past my thighs. Okay? And I'm looking at them like, these used to fit. But they don't fit anymore. And that was a hard moment to wrap my head around. But in addition to that was the comments. I know that I think there were compliments, but I didn't take them as compliments. I don't think people should be commenting on body image in general. Whether it's, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight, or oh my gosh, you've gained weight. Why do people feel like they need to make this comment?
What's positive to some people might not be interpreted as positive 100%. To the person that you're telling.
And you don't know what they're mentally going through. For a person who's trying to gain weight, telling them that they've lost weight is probably like, are you serious?
I'm trying.
I'm eating 6 meals a day. I'm about to literally, it's not even going down anymore. Yeah. And you're telling me I've lost weight. And then on the flip side of that, it's like, oh my God, you've gained weight. And then you're just like, but I wanted to lose weight. Or I'm not ready to hear that from someone. Maybe that is what I'm trying to do, but I'm not ready to hear that said out loud. And this is something I've noticed as a Lebanese person as well. In this culture that we live in the Middle East, people love to comment on your weight. The first thing they say, because they have nothing else to say to you. Yeah, so it's like a conversation opener. People ask about the weather. Middle Eastern people think it's okay to start talking about someone's weight as an opener.
Unsolicited auntie syndrome.
Exactly. Like, yee, you've lost so much weight, or yee, you've gained weight. And I'm just like, the yee in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
You don't know which way it's going, but you don't know. You know it's not good.
Exactly.
You know it's not good.
When the opener starts with a yee, it's not okay. You're about to be demolished, like by someone's off backhand comment.
Criticism.
And it's a backhand comment. They
100%.
don't think it's criticism. And even if you were to sit down and talk to them, they'd be like, why are you so sensitive? What's going on with you? Listen, weight for anyone. I'm speaking at a female perspective, but I'm sure men go through this so much.
Yeah, it's
as
body
well.
dysmorphia. It's maybe not in the same way, but 100%.
Yeah.
100% the same sense. Like,
and it's just frustrating because people think that it's okay to just give these comments out. And what really like shocked me was my reaction to them. Like I said, I thought I had thick skin and I could take it. And I'm just like, what do you know? People were like, maybe we should stop bulking now. Maybe it's time to stop bulking. And I'm just like, no. And then I had to like take it with like
a grain of salt.
Yes.
Right?
And then I cried. I cried after that, like, but privately, because I didn't want them to get that satisfaction of knowing that their words stung me that much. And then someone said, oh, you look like a She-Hulk. Like, okay, I'm trying to think, maybe he's just saying I look strong.
Yeah.
But She-Hulk, like,
choose a better expression, bro.
Something a little more, like it's just
feminine.
Yes, and it's crazy because I don't want to be that person. I genuinely don't. I want it to be like, ha ha, laugh it off and but I can't. And I feel like people carry so much, history with themselves, like baggage that we don't know about, and people just believe like they can just comment about other people's body image, like bodies, and that affects people more than we know. And in the gym, like I'm always conscious about how I speak to other people. Oh, you're looking strong. Look at you. Like, look at you lifting that weight.
We talked about this.
Exactly. But people just don't get that. And it's very frustrating because when someone's really on this journey of trying to get better at something, these little, I'll call them bumps in the road, can completely detour your results. Because I'll be very honest, like I had to check in with myself and be like, is this what you want? And yes, like I said, it was exactly what I needed because like I said, the performance was coming. However, it's not what I wanted to hear. It's not what I wanted to deal with again. So I'm in a place now. I'm in this place where I've gained the weight that I wanted to gain, and I'm trying to get my body used to this weight and start not cutting because I'm not trying to lose weight again. I'm just trying to build a more, a strong foundation with this body. So trying to get away, like leave the fluff behind. So trying to take the fluff away and replace it with muscle, which is thankfully a very easy process when you have muscle mass to begin with. So when people are thinking about going on a bulk, we're not trying to gain fat, because some people are like, oh, I can do 5 kilos in a week.
Yeah, like a dirty bulk.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, a dirty
like cheeseburgers
bulk,
and KFC. All week.
That will for sure not nourish your body the way it needs to be nourished in order for you to perform. So being on a clean bulk is very difficult, and I need to like highlight this because you're eating a lot of good, nutritious food in portion sizes that are bigger than what you would usually eat.
I know people that have been going through a bodybuilding phase and then trying to go through a clean bulk or relatively clean bulk, and they're just like, I get tired of chewing.
Eating.
Yeah, I can't even chew the food anymore, to the point that they're like, I think I'm going to start blending it and drinking it now.
You told me about this.
Yeah,
someone was blending their food.
Yeah, they were blending their food, like their chicken and their rice and stuff. They're like, I can't eat anymore. I can't wake up in the morning at 2-3 in the morning and eat. It's too much. Because
you need to eat so much food. And there's a point where you look at food and you're like, I'm not even hungry, but I got to eat this.
Yeah.
And this is what people begin to kind of take for granted. Like when someone is genuinely trying to be on a clean bulk, they're on a journey, and it's a very difficult one. I'm talking about like I had to plan 2 breakfasts oats a day. So I had to wake up early enough where I could have my first breakfast and then be able to have my second breakfast 3 hours later and still be in the morning window. So I would be eating at 6 a.m. I don't eat at 6 a.m. I can't even, but I'm literally sitting on the kitchen counter.
Forcing yourself.
Yeah, all right. First spoon, second spoon.
Oats and honey.
All the oats and the chia seeds and the stuff that you're putting in your oats to make it like bulk. And I would put protein powder in it, like just to add a little extra protein in there. You're just adding so much to it. And then 3 hours later, you're not even hungry yet.
You gotta eat again.
But here we go. All right, Adele, back on that kitchen counter. Like, let's eat. Number 2, then there's lunch. You're still not hungry.
Yeah.
You're not at that point where your body's like, I want food. It's kind of like, you want to eat again? Like, eating again. And again, we're eating healthy food. Lots of brown rice, pasta, like protein, fiber, because you also need to be able to process what you're eating. And then after that, you need to work out. Right after the workout, there's a protein shake because you need to get those calories, keeping those calories up. Right after that protein shake, you have dinner, and then before you go to sleep, spoonful of peanut butter and a just no. Just about my metabolism.
Just before you brush your teeth.
Exactly. You take that and then you're just just trying to chew this peanut butter. And it's just, your day is basically setting alarms for yourself to make sure that you're eating. And that was in the beginning, very difficult until your body begins to get used to this. It's like, oh, so this is how you're eating? Great. Anything less than that, my stomach starts growling and it's like
time to eat, Adele.
Time to eat. So that was very difficult to begin. And like I said, I used to be that person who's like, oh, you want to gain weight? Oh,
poor you.
But I had the muscle mass and I had the program that went with it. So some people are like, why am I looking so fluffy on a bulk? Sometimes you might not be working out enough to be on that calorie count. 100%. And right now, I'm no longer on my programming. I'm no longer working out 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours and a half a day. So I needed to stop eating the way I was eating before because I can't continue eating like that because my body's not burning that much anymore.
You're just going to store it.
Exactly. And that's not what I'm trying to do anymore. So the thing is that you need to check, first of all, where your weight's at. How much muscle mass do you have? Can your body actually handle a bulk? Because the more muscle mass you have, the more it's going to look muscular than fluffy. And are you working out enough for you to need all these calories that you are consuming? Because each person needs a different calorie count depending on their body composition at the end of the day. So what worked for me doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. And women, we have hormones that work against us. We don't have these high levels of testosterone. So men on a bulk look completely different than a woman on a bulk. We get softer. We do. Like, our stomachs like to hold fat. Our legs like to hold fat. Our arms like to hold fat. There's different parts in our body that like to hold onto fat. And you need to be conscious of that. So when you start seeing it, you're not freaking out. And also, again, how much are you working out a day, and are you able to stay in that calorie, not deficit, it's like
it's a window.
Yeah, the window of like, you have excess calories for you to be able to sustain that bulk, but you're not depleting yourself at the same time. So it's very delicate. And
it's a science as well, but it's very personal to the individual. Like, it's subjective.
And you're going to mess up so many times. There were some things I had to stop. Like, I was taking 2 protein shakes a day. I needed to cut one back because I was like, I don't need this much protein. The more protein intake you take, sometimes it actually gets stored into fat.
100%.
If your body's not needing that much protein.
Stores it as energy, and energy converts to fat.
Exactly. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? What's happening? It's very hit and miss. You really need to be experimenting with your body. And as hard as that sounds, and some people are just like, I don't want to do that. It's the reality of it, because any dietitian can put you on a cookie cutter diet.
Calorie deficit.
Exactly. Yeah. Or calorie increase. But does it make sense to you? Do they know what your life looks like outside of their office? You need to know, are you sedentary at work? Are you sitting down all day? Is the only time you're moving at the gym, or are you like more active? All of these things play such a role in the success of your bulk. I'm just focusing on the bulk right now because I've already talked about being on a deficit before, but this was such a journey that I didn't expect would be so difficult to be on. Like we mentioned, people sometimes are like, I just need 3 cheeseburgers and a full pizza, and there's 5 kilos on the weight, on the scale. And I'm like, but that's not sustainable. That's not the energy I need. That's not fueling my body for the things I need it to do. So no, this is not helping. People take this for granted.
Yeah.
And then they see someone trying to gain weight and they're just like, must be hard eating all that food. And you're just like, it is.
It actually is.
It really is.
But I have a question for you, and I think this is important for a lot of people that are listening as well.
Yeah.
That aren't so versed in maybe the nutrition aspect of things. How good did you feel? And I know you mentioned this, but how good did you feel when you were working out?
So good.
And that's the thing, and that's
So
a
good.
difference, right?
Yes.
It's a huge difference as to when you're in a deficit or you're not feeding your body the correct or the optimal nutrition that it needs,
100%.
as opposed to eating the right nutrition and then working out.
Oh my goodness. My weights from the last time I did a testing of like squats, I had like a 1 rep max of squats that I had to test again. I went up 15 kilos on weights. Like I could carry 15 kilos more than, I'm not going to say it was 4 months ago. That's huge. That's a big jump. That's, for me, that was big. That
100%.
was so big.
Yeah.
And I felt good during my workouts. And I still feel good during my workouts. The one thing that I will say, and it does happen with a bulk, bulks help you definitely pull on a machine better. It's just so much more effective and efficient. I have to pull less to get the same outcome.
Output, yeah.
And I actually was lifting a lot better. What suffered, and I'm going to be very frank about this, was my gymnastics.
Yeah.
Because my pull-ups, I'm a heavier weight.
More weight to pull.
Exactly. Yeah. So I needed to rebuild my foundation of how many pull-ups I can do, because I used to be able to do 5 to 6 pull-ups. I was only able to do 2 at this new weight. So yes, your body is going to, change where it's strong at and really shift the way that you're moving in other places, especially when you're in the gym. So this was something I also wanted to mention, because yes, I felt good in my lifts, felt really good on a machine, but my gymnastics and the skills were suffering because I've never been this weight and my body's never had to pull this weight before.
Your technique could be there, but your weight is heavy now. There's more gravity pulling against you.
So you need to learn how to move in your new body. There's a new body and you're trying to figure out, how do I move in this body? It goes for both ways. People who have lost a lot of weight also need to figure out how they move in this new body. And people who have gained weight also need to learn how to move in this new body. It's a new place. You're genuinely a new person. And you're like, whoa, okay, I'm good here. I need to work on this. But overall, I feel incredible as not just an athlete. My energy during the day is so different. I used to be just always thinking about when am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? Like I'm hungry. My body was always hungry because always in a deficit. Now it's at a place where I'm no longer in a surplus, but I'm at a place where I'm maintaining. So my body's like happy here. It's in a happy place. And like I mentioned, my journey has shifted now. I'm no longer trying to gain muscle or gain weight. It's now at a point where I'm trying to learn how to use the body that I'm in and make it stronger and just look more athletic, if that makes sense, but at this weight. Again, not cutting, not being in a deficit, maintaining where I'm at and getting my body used to being here because it's never been here before. So give yourself grace, give other people grace. So if you see someone who's on a journey that you don't really understand, you don't need to be giving unsolicited comments and unsolicited advice because you don't know how delicate this line is with them between stopping right now and continuing. And we can always say, oh, well, they shouldn't be that sensitive. They should have some self-esteem. They should have some self-confidence. Nothing tests your confidence like doing something you've never done before. You are new at this. So no, you don't have confidence in what you're doing. You're literally messing up, fixing, trying it, and seeing results, not seeing results. So you're in a lab with yourself. So no, you're not at your most confident. You're at your most confident where you're comfortable at. We're no longer in that comfort zone. We're somewhere we've never been before. So you need to really be mindful. I need to be mindful. People need to be mindful about how we speak to each other. And that was just something like I was just not expecting. Took me off guard. It taught me something about myself. I'm like, Adele, you're not made of stone. You know, like things actually will affect you more than you probably realize. And that made me more in tune with how I am with others, and with myself, giving myself grace, telling myself, you know what, it's okay, we're learning. And then looking at other people and encouraging them, no matter if this journey makes sense for you, how can I support you? Rather than give you these backhand comments that aren't helping you much. And on the contrary, probably making you second guess yourself. I'm tired of people being like, oh yeah, grow some thick skin. No. When it comes to body image, you can't tell someone that because you don't know what they've been through. And I just really wanted to really be transparent and honest about this journey that I've been on because, like I said, when I was talking about body image, I said a phrase that I was like, oh, I'm no longer concerned about how I look, but more about how my body can perform. Yes and no. I also want to look good and feel good in my body, learn how to look good and feel good in this body. And yes, I am very much interested in how I perform, and I also want to look a certain way. So I'm still on this journey. There's a long ways to go. Figure out what you want to do. Make sure it makes sense to you, whether it's gaining weight, losing weight, trying something new, trying something out of your comfort zone. There are going to be a lot of naysayers. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to come along your path and try to derail you. Always reflect on with yourself. Is this what I want? Is this what I'm doing? Does this fulfill me? And then the rest of it's just noise. And remember, we're canceling noise.
Tag for the Apple headphones.
So I'm going to leave it right there. Keep growing, keep glowing. And like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week on Spill the Matcha. Later.